The Purple Line is a community podcast bringing you in-depth conversations with diverse leaders in the public and private sectors. Whether you're a student looking to gather advice or a professional tuning in for valuable resources, our dynamic programming provides tips for all ages and backgrounds. I'm your host, Keith Fernandez, and this is The Purple Line. Juan Carlos Martinez Jr. is a brother of Wendy K. Martinez, a CHLI alumna who lost her life in Washington, D.C. on September 18, 2018. He is the vice president of the Wendy Martinez Legacy Project, which he and his family created in honor of his sister. He helps his mother, Cora Martinez, with her needs as she manages a foundation from home. He is also an IT coordinator. He currently lives in West Palm Beach, Florida, with his wife and 2 children. Juan Carlos Martinez, thank you so much for joining us on the Purple Line. Exciting stuff to talk about. But first, I want to provide you an opportunity to talk a little bit about your sister, Wendy Martinez, who is a CHLI alum a lot of folks are familiar with, a success story, an inspiration to so many, and someone whose life was cut senselessly short. But tell us about Wendy. I think a lot of people know her name, but I don't think a lot of people know about Wendy herself.
Yeah, absolutely. So Wendy and I'm her brother.
Yeah.
Wendy and we had about 6-year age gap.
Yeah.
And so she was always like my second mother, right?
Yeah.
She always took care of me. She was always this energetic, bright, beautiful woman. And then as we got older, I could see that she was really starting to excel.
Yeah.
She was really focused and driven in her academics. Wendy, she went in her high school during one of these programs. She won a very prestigious award for a high school called the Pathfinder Award, and this is while she was going towards the medical program. That's when we kind of knew that Wendy wanted to just continue and strive and be better. Wendy was born in Managua, Nicaragua. And so when my parents migrated over to the States, she just had this true belief of just, this is the best way that we can go ahead and be better in life is through education. But the second part of that was that no one can take away what you know. And so knowledge was power for Wendy. As we got older, you could see that she just started coming out of her shell and just brightening up, right? She was the focal point in a lot of rooms when we would walk in. I just used to be in awe of her smile and her energy and her presence with people. Mm-hmm. She would make you feel like the only person in the room when she was communicating with you. Those type of things just... it kind of helped me open up as a person. I was a little shy when I was younger, but I got to see my sister do these events and start going to Duke University and then coming here to this beautiful city, Washington, D.C., and just seeing how she networked and literally loved on people and would just make you astonished by her, right? Yeah. Like she just had this overwhelming smile and laugh and just provoking thought to her, which I loved. And so Wendy was like my North Star. She was my role model. She was somebody that I always looked up to. A lot of people aren't as fortunate as I was to have somebody be in high positions or go to really prestigious schools. And with her, I got to see that firsthand, an immigrant coming into the United States, doing everything that she needed to do to prosper. And that those things really impacted me and affected everyone around her. So she was just a very special one.
That's incredible. And I know that Wendy valued her time as a CHLI intern. Can you tell us a little bit about, when she was at CHLI, how did it feel to her to be coming to DC and interning in Congress and all that?
Yeah, it was scary, at first. I remember having those conversations, or at least overhearing them, with my family and my parents. And she, it was a big step. I remember when my sister originally went to Duke University for an internship, and she got homesick, ended up coming back home. But it was something that triggered her when she knew the opportunity that she had at hand. And so she was excited and ready to just go full force with it. She absolutely loved it. She was still really good friends with many people from that organization, from Chile after, before she passed. Yeah. Some of the people that are on our board are part of that. So she was just, she loved it. She absolutely loved it and enjoyed it, and was very thrilled and happy to be able to go through the entire program.
Yeah, and tell us a little bit about the Wendy Martinez Foundation. So after her passing, obviously it was incredibly tragic, and I think one of the things that is so admirable about the way you and your family have, progressed is taking that and making it into a force for good, even though it was under incredibly terrible circumstances.
Yeah. You know, this Sunday, September 18th, will be 4 years of Wendy's memorial. She passed away tragically while running. And through that pain, we ended up creating the Wendy Martinez Legacy Project. With that, we were able to go ahead and start thinking about how we were going to impact people's lives like she
Hmm.
did. We wanted to also go ahead and help others that were less fortunate. And we specifically wanted to help women in technology
Yeah.
because Wendy was in that field prior to her passing. She was a true leader, an inspiring person. And so that's how kind of how we looked at it as well with the Wendy Martinez Legacy Project. We wanted to commit to serving her community here in Washington, D.C.,
Yeah.
and also in West Palm Beach, Florida. So we basically have three pillars where we help women in entrepreneurship, women in technology, and we also try to strengthen communities through activities such as running. Those are our main focal points. And because of Wendy being in the position that she was prior to her passing, we were fortunate enough that her employer was able to back us up. And with that, we just went full force. So the Wendy Martinez Legacy Project helps fund a lot of things in this community in Washington, D.C. and in West Palm. So we just, again, Wendy wanted to love on others, and we did the same thing with that. That the pain was tragic, and we had to go through it and grieve, but we knew that we would be able to honor her through doing this, and we have pretty much exceeded our expectations. We never realized how the community was also going to be impressed by us and join us and love on us too at that same time. So we just basically want to help Latinas and Latinos in those areas. And we think that through the Wendy Martinez Legacy Project, we're going to achieve some great things.
That's awesome. And what are some examples of programs that you support or run through the Legacy Project? Because it sounds really, really exciting. And I'm sure that over the years you developed a few stories where of folks really having seen a difference in their lives.
Yeah. So as of now, the Wendy Martinez Legacy Project has given nearly close to $200,000 in grants to support and strengthen communities and empower women in technology and leadership. Like I said, we were fortunate enough to get these type of funds and just give it back out, right? So some of the programs that we are associated with or building these relationships and giving grants to would be FAU. FAU is a college in West Palm Beach, specifically the Honors College, the Wilkes College. It's in a town called Jupiter, and so we've given grants to scholarships through Latinas at FAU, and our mission is to kind of impact that community. That's just one of them. Even during COVID, COVID was such a rough time, but we were still able to continue to give out some money to some less fortunate people. So we were able to help the House of Ruth,
Uh-huh.
and then we were also able to give some money out to the Capital Area Food Bank. People were going through a lot of tragic times at that in 2020, and I just remember the need for help. And even though we had our pillars, we knew that we kind of had to change our strategy and help people that were in the city that needed it. We also help Latinas in Tech, which have, I believe their headquarters is in Miami, but they also have some chapters around the country. So we help them. We help Back on My Feet. We help Girls on the Run. We also help the Latin American Youth Center, and all of them are in Washington, D.C. So
That's incredible, and that's such a diverse range of organizations. I mean, you've impacted thousands of people by now, probably. I mean, it sounds incredible, and $200,000 dispersed is real money that really helps folks.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's been in the last 3 years.
Yeah.
We had a slowdown because of COVID, but we knew that we couldn't let that just deter us from what our mission was and our power and how to continue Wendy's legacy. So we continue to just, like I said, we're really big on loving on others.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely. And before we get to Wendy's legacy, tell me a little bit about what the future has in store for the foundation. I'm sorry, the Legacy Project, and what we can expect more success from.
Yeah, so right now, I handle a lot of the run aspect of the Wendy Martinez Legacy Project. Wendy was running while she was while she tragically passed, but we want to keep that going. And so in West Palm, we did a 5K, 10K run in 2019, right before COVID, and we had about 400 registered people. But because of the weather, only about 300 people showed up. But we wanted to go ahead and strengthen the community through those type of activities. So we do plan on picking back up for 2023. We are in the works on getting it established and ready to go and get the permits going with a company called Game On, and fantastic people. This woman, Willie, she's one of the co-owners, and so she has been helping us do that. Because of COVID, the island that we have the race just wasn't allowing permits or whatnot, but it's open, so we're ready to do that. And we hope that in DC we're able to do a race here as well. We have a very, very exciting, how can I say this, a leadership program that we are in talks with FAU and Chile. We believe that Wendy was driven to come here to Washington, D.C. and impact others through Congress and through just the Capitol in general. And we want to see more people from West Palm do that as well. And so we were able to go ahead and have a conversation with the dean at FAU at the Wilkes campus, and he loves our idea. So we just have to go ahead and make sure that we have all our cross our I's or cross our T's and dot our I's, and make sure that works. But we think that it's going to happen. And I don't want to be positive yet, but the way that it looks is that we will be able to start some type of internship where people from that campus are able to come to DC and go into the program. We're just trying to figure out the financial aspect of it, make sure we get the approvals. But it would be a beautiful thing to honor Wendy, because it would be a legacy. It would be a leadership program in her name through the college. Yeah. So that would be massive. One, to, I believe, having students come here and realizing how beautiful this city can be, and how to impact and change areas around you, and also have the ability to decide whether you want to be on the Hill, right? Or if you want to come in and be in Washington, D.C. for a long time, like my sister did. She became a Washingtonian afterwards. Yeah. So, she loved the city that much and didn't want to leave, but it was her heart. The city was her heart. So we're hoping to have that soon. We also are still continuing with the same programs that I just mentioned prior. Yeah. Tomorrow I'll be going to, which will be September 17th, I'll be going to a race in Anacostia Park for Girls on the Run. And so we've given them the grants, and we want to be out there to show support to the children and represent the Wendy Martinez Legacy Project.
That's awesome. So first off, for that race in DC and anywhere else, like, count on the Alumni Association to help. So even the virtual stuff, you need comms help. We got comms people. We got that's what I do in my day job. So we are more than happy to help in any way possible.
Absolutely.
And so sort of going through this through line of the Legacy Project. Wendy's legacy comes up a lot, and leaving her legacy, and I got to read this off because this is really impactful. But in 2005, she was interviewed by the Palm Beach Post, the hometown paper for you all.
Yes,
and she said she wanted to be remembered for three things: for Christian faith, for being a woman who helped others, and for being a contributor to strengthening the relationship among Latin American countries. And it seems to me, just from what I'm hearing about the Legacy Project and their programming, that a lot of that is reflected in what you do every day, and how important is it to you to ensure that the Legacy Project really not only maintains Wendy's legacy, but really continues having Wendy's principles at the heart of everything you do?
What a great question. We just live and breathe that, the foundation, the people that are part of it. We want to continue exactly doing the things that she had wrote in that paper. We still want to love on others, like, our Christian background, with like how God loves on us. We are a very forgiving family, obviously due to the nature of what happened with my sister, but we don't want that to stop us being able to still help others. And so I think that um, Wendy would be extremely happy and proud to continue or to see us actually living out what she had wrote in that paper.
Yeah.
And I don't think we'll ever drift away from that. I think the missions are that we have and our goals are pretty impactful in those areas, and we just want to continue doing it. So when it comes to how important it is to us, it's everything.
Yeah.
It's all or nothing with the foundation, and I'm here to help. My mom's here to do those things as well, and be supportive and give me the okay to be able to also love on others. And so I think that having that in mind, it's a blessing, honestly. It's a guide for us to continue doing what we're doing and being able to honor her in that light.
That's incredible. And Wendy lived a life of service. I mean, Chile, being on the Hill, being chief of staff at a big deal company. I mean, it's impressive. And I think so much about Wendy is, we talk about her sort of when she was chief of staff and sort of, her passing, but I think really what's important too is that, talk about like the way Wendy lived life. And I was wondering, do you have a favorite memory of her? Do you have a favorite thing where you're like, oh yeah, that's Wendy. Like that's what she would do. Like, of course, that's this person. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. No, you said it. Wendy was a very giving and thoughtful person. Some of my memories with Wendy are just gifts in general. Wendy would, she really thought about it. I think after Wendy's passing, I'm pretty sure some people, because this was in September, some people still receive Christmas letters afterwards from my sister. She was just so thoughtful, and she and then when it comes to serving, absolutely. She wanted to running was one of her was her favorite sport, basically, and she would try to have others do the same thing, and empower women, especially women, Latina women, to go for their dreams and go for their goals. Wendy would have she had a vision, and she was prepared and determined to get to that point, and I think that she wanted to be able to serve others in that light as well. She had I think with our Christian background and our faith, that kind of goes hand in hand as well. We always growing up with my sister as well. I remember the moments when we would go to mission trips together, and she would be the first one in line, helping others and 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 being right in the focal point of the entire mission. Right.
Yeah.
So a lot of the memories are just seeing her give back, but some of the favorite memories always were around the dinner table. Wendy, I associate Wendy with food, even though she didn't cook it. I associated her with going out to some restaurants and sitting down and really opening up and talking one on one, having those one on ones and being emotional, but also impactful. My sister really, really loved to have a good meal, and let's open up and talk about what we see ourselves in the future. So those are some of just the great memories that I think about my sister, and so I miss her. And I have some people around. My mom's very giving and loving, and so that still reminds me of her to this day. Being in this city reminds me of her. So this city will always have my heart, even though it took a very large toll on me. But I see the brightness that's still here, the energy, the how vibrant things can be, and so all of it is just associated with her.
Yeah. I think that one of the things you touched on, the brightness. I mean, I think Wendy's memory is such a bright, shining star for everyone at CHLI. You know, whether you're an alumnus, whether you are a board member. I mean, it's just the through line that runs through is her life of service has animated the service that we try and give to others in our personal and professional lives. I know that you wanted a moment to say thank you to some folks. I wanted to provide that
Yes.
now. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. On behalf of the Wendy Martinez Legacy Project team, we would want to give special thanks to Fiscal No and their family. The CEO and co-founder Tim Wing, he has been such a huge benefactor for us and such a driving force and just open to establishing the Wendy Martinez Legacy Project from day one. It was when we talked to him and when my mother talked to him, he just he was just taken back by what had happened, and he wanted to know how he could help. So one of our deepest appreciations is for Fiscal No and Tim. What a beautiful, beautiful company and person. We'd also love to give our appreciation to Chile and the CEO, Maria Ana Gomez. Mary Ana Gomez. Sorry, I'll retake that. And for giving my sister the opportunity to participate in an internship in 2005, right? Back then, Wendy served with the Congress, Mario Diaz-Balart. And so that really impacted and changed her way of viewing her life and the city. We want to be able to say thank you to all the alumni and the scholarship. Let me retake that. We'd like to say thank you to establishing the Wendy Martinez Alumni Association Scholarship to assist young professionals and advance in their career. Again, that's one of our focal points with my sister and how she just lived life. Yeah. And so we're very, very, very appreciative of that. And then we want to say thank you to the community of Washington, D.C., West Palm Beach. There's a lot of people that definitely reached out to us and were touched by how, one, we were able to move past the tragedy the way that we did. It still lingers with us, but we wanted to embody Wendy's energy and not give the gentleman any light about what happened.
Yeah.
We wanted to just live through her and through the Wendy Martinez Legacy Program and how we were able to impact and touch lives. So those many thanks to all of you guys. Thank you so much. We truly as a team adore you, and as Wendy's brother, I'm very, very thrilled to see what's going to happen in the future. And we really thank you for all that everyone has done for us.
Thank you for coming on the podcast and sharing about that today. And I think that I can speak for a lot of alumni, or really all of us, when I say, we all hope to live up to the high standards that Wendy had. And I think one of the things that for so many of us, we ask ourselves, especially when doing things related to CHLI, is what would Wendy do? And she's a founding member of the Alumni Association, and she's somebody that we treasure in our hearts, and we try to make sure our actions and our deeds match her legacy.
Absolutely.
So thank you for coming on the podcast and sharing with us today.
Yeah, thank you. And I just one last mention, I would love for you guys to go ahead and follow us. You can always go on our webpage. It's wendyslegacy.org. And you can follow us on our social media presence. That's through Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. We're there. If you go on our websites, there are ways to donate and contribute to the organizations that we also help out. So please feel free to visit us. Like I said, it's wendyslegacy.org, and you can find all our information there and about us and what we do.
All right. We'll be sure to follow.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right. Thanks so much.
Your time.
Likewise. Thanks for listening to The Purple Line. You can follow me at _Keith Fernandez on Twitter, and make sure to follow CHLI across all social media platforms at The CHLI for the latest updates.